Watching someone you love changing in front of your eyes is one of the hardest parts of being a carer, especially when it starts to change the dynamic of your relationship. Hi, I'm Jim Rogers and this is Hold the Moment. This is Australia's only podcast just about dementia. It is brilliant, so listen to it. It really helps. For me, it was particularly tough seeing my role as a parent change a bit. Now my kids are checking in on me. If you're noticing a relationship shift or struggling to reconnect, we've got an entire episode on this very topic, so make sure you listen to that. In this bonus episode, Kristin from the National Dementia Helpline has some quick tips that might just smooth any tensions arising as your relationship changes.
Relationships change over time. Following the diagnosis of a loved one with dementia, you might find that some of the things that you used to do are starting to change. And that's true whether the person that's been diagnosed is your partner, a parent, a friend, or someone else in the community. It might be that the person that's living with dementia used to be the one that paid the bills in the house, or did the cooking or the mowing, and now you're starting to take on more of that role. Perhaps the person living with dementia was always the one that drove the family around, and now that's something that you're taking more of a role on as the carer. It's not always easy as these changes happen in your relationship, but there are some things that you can do to help keep that relationship and that connection going. There can also be a number of emotional changes that happen as your relationship changes. You might find that when you're talking to your loved one who's living with dementia, that it's difficult to talk about how you're feeling, or that they don't respond in the same way. You might find that there are different ways that you can connect. It might be something as easy as a hug to help them feel better when they're having a difficult time, instead of talking things through like you might have done before. One of the tips that I like to give carers, especially if their loved one living with dementia is a parent, is to let them still be a parent. If you can, ask them for advice on things that you might have asked them for in the past, maybe something they were good at. You could ask them for a recipe or their thoughts if you're buying a new car. The advice that they give might be different than it was before, but they'll feel good that you value their input. Another area that you might be wondering about changes in your relationship, if your partner's the person that's been diagnosed with dementia, is intimacy. You might be wondering if that's something that you can still participate in, or how to do that. The most important thing is to talk with your partner. Find out what they're comfortable with, what they're interested in, and if you have a laugh trying to figure out as it changes, that's okay too. One of the things that I suggest is have a think about what you like to do with your loved one. What did you used to do before? If you used to enjoy cooking and eating together, try a simple recipe or try going out to a cafe. If music has always been part of your lives, turn on some of your favorite songs and try having a spin. As things change and it might become harder to connect with your loved one verbally, there are other things that you can do that include connecting with the senses.
If you have any questions about anything you've heard on this episode, or want more personalised guidance while navigating your relationship changes, you can contact the National Dementia Helpline on 1800 100 500. Their trained advisors are available 24 hours a day, every day of the year. And you can speak to an advisor just like Kristin. And for more resources, visit the Dementia Australia website.